I chose Andy Warhol because I'm a silkscreen artist and mixed media artist, but actually silkscreen was what brought me to art. And I think if you are a silkscreen artist, you really, I don't know, somehow Andy Warhol spirit hovers above you, particularly if you choose the style that I did, more graphic, very contemporary style to do screen printing. You can do screen printing also in a very painterly manner and create gorgeous work, but that's not what I, was inclined to do. So I studied also Andy Warhol's work, and I kind of found my own way and also my own style, I believe. Andy Warhol's work was it was like a commentary to the times that he lived in. And what I particularly liked was that he used everyday items, his Brillo boxes, his soup cans, Campbell soup cans are very famous. And then of course his portraits that he did of famous people. He's also been accused of kind of catering to the rich and famous, which as an artist I kind of understand. You need the income to uphold your studio, and silk screening is a very labor-intensive and expensive art form, so that part I do understand. Now, Andy Warhol was also a graphic designer from the beginning. My artist career also was, kind of based on graphic design. So that's another similarity that we have. Andy Warhol did a lot of multiples, and that's how screen printing originally, way back when it first was invented, that's what it was for. But in my work, I actually do mostly monoprints. Of my monoprints, I actually also do giclée prints, which is kind of interesting, when you do a print of a print. But silk screening by hand, original work, it's acrylic work, and it's very labor intensive. So I think rather than just taking logos, I also want to create. I do my designs, and I don't just trust the actual object. I want it to be part of something bigger. And I also use silkscreen in many different ways. I combine it with mixed media. I layer it with resin that creates fun shadows and dimension. I look for creating more 3D work because silkscreen in itself is very flat. So I use plaster and other materials to create some dimension. I feel like the bigger public doesn't understand silkscreen. And Warhol is known for his portraits and for his shadows series, which actually looks very painterly. He also does mix some with painting, and in his collaboration with Basquiat, for instance, he did that. He also had very overtly sexual material that he, did made on silkscreen, and it may look like a drawing, but it's drawn, but it's multiplied through silkscreen. And the soup cans in particular, that's. I don't know how many of them there are, but I've certainly seen original Warhols in different exhibits that I've seen in New York and Florida and elsewhere. So there's a lot of them around. They're not all price-wise prohibitive. So there's a lot of his work. And I'm just marveling at the thought of what would he have done today, had he lived today. Where he would have been more accepted, where his lifestyle would have been more accepted. And his art was also very, very connected to his own life experiences, his experiences in love, his experiences of health and bad health. And he was shot at a young age, so he struggled with the outcome of that. So had he had a little bit of a different life in a different time, what would he have created? Some of his work is rather gruesome. The kind of perverted view of accidents or shootings, and they're not easy to look at, frankly, and the sadness that is seen in some of the faces, and the grief, and well, if I compare to myself, I chose the mid-Atlantic iconography, which is happier. It's a happier, it's a happier place, happier time here at the beach.